Trump just did something that's never been done by a president ever. He just fired a acting Fed chairman, and the dollar index just fell pretty drastically when this happened, actually. I want to go through this, talk about what's happening with Bitcoin as well, because it is tied together, and what you should be thinking about with Bitcoin right now. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you're not already trading crypto, check out the link to BYDeFi underneath the video. You can start trading crypto there with leverage, and you can actually trade crypto with crypto using their CoinM features. Right now, there is a little trading competition, trading giveaway. I think of it as like a new user bonus, but the fact is, it's not just for new users, it's for every user that's ever signed up under my link. So if you've ever signed up, you can start getting access to these giveaways. Now, Jerome Powell is obviously the head of the Fed, but there are other Fed chairmen, and we have them vying for their jobs right now, or trying to hold on to their jobs, because Trump just did something that's never been done before. No president has ever fired an active Fed chairman. But tonight, Trump just did that with Fed Chair Cook. Now, I don't know too much about her, but supposedly Trump is citing some misrepresentations of the truth on home mortgage applications, which is interesting. Supposedly, the president can fire for cause, so he put out on Truth Social that he's firing her on a random Monday night. So seems like he might be replacing some of the Fed chairs with his own Fed chairs with his own picks, and maybe stacking the tables so that he can start seeing more rate cuts in the future. He said that he's going to fire Jerome Powell in the past. And yeah, he wants basically a zero rate environment. He wants the economy to be raging. He wants tariffs to be coming in as well. When this was announced, the DXY, which is the dollar strength index, fell about 0.5%, which is actually a pretty substantial move. And this was within an hour. So we saw a drop. That's basically signaling that we are going to see a weaker dollar, that we're going to see lower interest rates in the future. So this is actually pretty bullish for hard assets, risk-on assets, because it means that there's going to be more printing in the future. There's going to be lower interest rates, which when people have more money, money comes back to hard assets, things that are scarce like Bitcoin and real estate, stocks as well, right? Profitable companies. Now, at the same time, though, Bitcoin's not moving up on this. Bitcoin is in a world of its own right now, along with the rest of the crypto market. Nearly $850 million worth of longs liquidated in the last 24 hours. We constantly are seeing new lows after new lows. Just the bears just slightly edging out the previous low. So maybe, you go very aggressive on leverage and you don't time it perfectly. Let's say you thought like 110,000 was the bottom, and you go 100x leverage, you might get some gains, but if you don't close those out, we saw 108,500, so you would have been liquidated. So we are seeing that over and over and over, just slightly below the previous low, and then we move up, and then slightly below again, over and over. The bears are trying to liquidate as many longs as possible. We can actually see Binance is causing more liquidations. We saw 21,000 short-term holders Bitcoin going to exchanges, so basically panicking, selling at a loss most likely, which at the end of the day, I wonder who would buy Bitcoin short-term and sell it. Now, maybe you bought 11 months ago and you're up 75% and you made a great return even when you account for taxes, and that's all you wanted. You just wanted a US dollar gain. Great. But if you're selling Bitcoin, you have to realize that you have an automatic tax hit in most places, and you're selling one of the best performing assets, the best performing asset of all time, and you're selling it at a 15% loss right ahead of Fed rate cuts. Keep in mind, August and September are the worst months for Bitcoin. So you're already selling it when it's down 15%. What's the thinking there? Has there been something fundamentally that's changed? Or is the price just cheaper? If the S&P 500 or a rental property that you were looking at fell down 15%, would that stop you from buying more? Would it make you panic sell, right? If you bought a good cash flowing property and then all of a sudden the estimate comes back and it's worth 15% less, would you go panic sell that? No, you probably hold and maybe try to buy more of them, right? So I wonder why people are selling Bitcoin right now, because there's nothing fundamentally that's gone wrong, right? If anything, we're in a better place than ever with the president actively pushing Bitcoin, trying to decrease rates, with a really good earnings season, that the season that was just past us, with Jerome Powell signaling that they are going to cut rates just last week. So I wonder why people are panicking, right? It's probably because they don't understand Bitcoin, or they're thinking emotionally. Maybe they're overexposed. Of course, there are people that are just getting liquidated. You have to be careful with that. That's why, like a week or two ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now, when I went 60x long right on support, when I was in the profit, 110%, I took profits. Like I took profits aggressively because I was using very high leverage. I rolled that back into a low leverage position, so that way I wasn't at risk of being liquidated again. After you get your gains, you roll them into lower leverage positions. That's why I constantly do, or I just open low leverage positions in general. Now, we have a lot of support right around 108 to 110 because we were rejected right around this level. So I would not be surprised. I've been saying this for a while, but I would not be surprised to see us bounce off this level. But bears are out, so maybe we go slightly lower. Who knows? I wouldn't mind buying Bitcoin in the 5 figures again, right? I know that that's still far ways off, but if that's what happens, great. Again, I don't think anything's really fundamentally changed. If you want to acquire more Bitcoin, you better do it when we're falling down. Now, there could be some more aggressive plays that make sense. Like I didn't look at MicroStrategy today, but if MicroStrategy is trading and more volatile than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin falls, let's say 10%, maybe MicroStrategy is down 20 or 30%. Maybe BMNR is another option, right? That's the Tom Lee's company, his treasury company. Maybe that's an option for you. There's some different things that you can do tax-wise, that you can trim or sell positions and then reopen them and kind of book your losses, basically. Talk to a professional about that. But there are opportunities when we fall, so don't get sad. This is also a better time to long, in my opinion. Open long positions with leverage when we have fallen down to some significant support level. But of course, you have to know what you're doing there. I do have some videos where I explain that. Just look up My Financial Friend Leverage or Trading, and you'll see them. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Stay in the game, right? Like, stay focused, stay in the game. Don't get fudded out of your investment. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video, including what Trump just did. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.